All right, welcome in. This ought to be good. I am DJ Mordecai, and I am joined by my co-host today, Samazon Prime, and our special guest, Phill Most Chill. Thank you, Phill Most Chill, for being here.
Yeah,
We are
sorry about
very,
that.
very
Turn
happy
off
to have
my
you
my
here.
air conditioning.
It's all good. Yeah, I had
Yeah, my
Sam
fan
kill
on too.
his fan. Yep,
It's
it's
like
a hot one.
102 out here today.
Yeah. How hot is it? You're in Philly, right, Phil?
Oh yeah, it's mad hot. It's like 100 degrees out there.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I had the air going all day. I meant to turn it off before we started. Just remember, but we all good.
It's all
No,
good.
we hear you loud and clear. You good?
Yeah, man. So let me start things off. I know I watched some of your interviews, listened to the one with Chris Reed from Who Sampled and C-Doc, and Sam made sure I read the interview with Uncut with Robbie Edelson. And so I don't want to ask stuff, like that they've already asked, but there are some where I want to go a little bit deeper. One of the
Okay.
one of the ones that they asked and you answered, and I know you said not to ask, but I gotta ask, is where were you born in Connecticut specifically? Because you kind of are a bit vague on it. Is it Stamford or the Panhandle or?
Panhandle. Nah, I was actually born in Philly. I was born in Philly,
Oh, but
but
I thought you lived in Connecticut kind of when you were growing up, right?
yeah, I grew up in Connecticut. Like when we were, I guess when I was about 4 years old, my mom moved to Norwalk, Connecticut,
Okay.
which is right next to Stanford. And yeah, all through my school years, I grew up in Connecticut. And then after when I was about 18, I guess moved back to Philly.
Okay. And did you take the train to the Bronx, or how did you get over there? You
Oh
said you
yeah,
were in the
usually,
Bronx.
well, yeah, when I would go to New York, whether it's the Bronx or wherever, usually it was just taking a train. Sometimes it was people who I knew. They'd be driving up. I ride with them. Those type of things. However, we had to get there.
Do you remember
I think
seeing any?
probably Greyhound bus too. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Do
Yeah.
you remember seeing any burners or tags or anything like that back then?
I'll be honest with you. At that time, when I was living in Connecticut, I wasn't really thinking about that too much. I know I saw some, but I wasn't into graffiti and all that back at that time. That
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until later, after I like moved away from the area. That's when I really got into it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about Sam, but I grew up in Ohio in Columbus, and I remember seeing some tags or graffiti, but I don't remember much about it in Richmond. Kind of as I got older, like it I definitely saw more and grew
Yeah,
more of an
I was
appreciation.
actually born in Pennsylvania. I was born in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Um,
Okay.
and then moved. I was lived in the Midwest. I lived in Iowa for my childhood. So there wasn't a lot of graph there wasn't a lot of artistic influence going on. You
No,
know.
no burners on the side of the barns.
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Barn
But
burners.
whatever trickled down from MTV. More or less. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
What initially like drew you to like the hip hop in the late '70s, and like what were your like biggest influences like during that time? I think you talked about Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel.
Yeah, it was just that was what was happening at the time growing up. It's like I said, where I grew up at in Connecticut was like about a half hour, 40 minutes from the Bronx. So we got everything that was happening there, we got the trickle down, like, we got all of it. Like a lot of those groups that rocked in the Bronx, they rocked where I lived at too. So it was just going to parties, man. It wasn't even like a big deal. It was just going to parties, and that's the music they were playing. You started to notice they're doing stuff that's different than what you're hearing on the radio. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
a whole different thing. They're playing like these records would sound like real old records, and they all had these funky drum breaks. And at this time, it didn't have a name. It wasn't called hip hop. It was just going to parties. It was going to jams, and this is how they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
People would get on the mic, and at first it would be just little nursery rhyme type stuff, and then before you know it, they're really saying, rhymes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So, and a lot of it was crowd response and all that as well. So, yeah, it was going to parties. It was checking out girls. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at what the DJ was doing, and yeah, I again, even with that, I got deeper into it. Like after the record started coming out, after Sugar Hill Gang, you started realizing this is more than just something they're doing in the neighborhood. This is really a thing. And then once I moved away from the area, moved to Philly, then it really became a thing because now I'm starting to feel just how special it really was. It wasn't just something we were doing in the neighborhood. It was like, this is a big deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I remember you talking about like maybe it was the first Philly MCs you heard. You felt like they weren't up to like the New York caliber that you had heard. Um, did you hear a lot of early DJs as well in Philly or New York that you particularly like Jazzy J or anybody in particular?
In New York.
Or Philly, either one.
Oh yeah, well yeah, absolute. Flash was the man back in those days. Flash was him. You know what I mean? Flash could do no wrong. But also, like I would see Jazzy J. Jazzy J was real dope. Um, DST later on, he got his rep up and everything. But then when I went to Philly, I saw they were doing something different. You know what I mean? The way they were cutting, it was real fast, and they were doing some different kinds of tricks, stuff you didn't even hear in New York. So I started saying, the best DJs might really be in Philly. It might not be New York. It might be Philly. And as
Hmm.
time went on, once you saw, people like, my man DJ Cash Money, Jazzy Jeff, you started to realize, yeah, Philly is, they're doing something different. They're taking it to another level.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. For those two cities to be growing up in the influence on the shadow of both of those cities, which are two of the most influential cities in hip hop. Like obviously the DJ thing, Philadelphia, really kind of took it and ran with it, and I would say a lot of people would say the best DJs were in Philly at a certain point, maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt. Like when those guys started doing the music seminars and stuff, and
Yeah,
they started seeing, Jazzy Jeff turning the turntables around the other way. Nobody had ever seen that before. And
yeah,
then with the transformer, yeah, this was new. This was revolutionary. So yeah, Philly definitely for a while was the place for DJs.
yeah. That's
What
that's
what inspired you to like start producing music and like do you produce now still or
Um,
more on an
Kinda.
MC tip kind of?
Kind of, sorta. Really, I try to stay out of that part of it just because it's aggravating for me. You know what I mean? It's trying to get the mix right and all that. It's even as a rapper, it's aggravating to. I know my man Crash Slaughter, who I'm working with now. I know I'm driving him crazy. But yeah, I do produce a little bit, but like I do a different kind of production. I kind of like just loop stuff up. I do it like organically. I don't
Hmm.
do drum machine stuff anymore. I can get back into it, but I don't really feel like doing that.
That,
But
that
to answer your initial question, how I got into it initially was just trying to make my own music, trying to make records. And this is in the early days of sampling and all that. And yeah, I just got whatever I could afford and tried to put together, a little studio of my own. And I had an idea how I wanted the music to sound. I was very much influenced by, Marley Marl, what he was doing once he started sampling. I
yeah,
started
mhm.
seeing, okay, let me see if I can do something like that as well. And I did my own crude version of kind of what he was doing, and also people like Rick Rubin as well.
So if,
Mhm.
I, if, I'm, if I'm not mistaken, you're basically like a renaissance man when it comes to the music. I mean, now that I mean, it's not like a revelation. I know you've been told this before, I'm sure, but from the graffiti angle, from the art angle to the DJing angle to the production angle to the rapping angle to writing about hip hop to having a column to being like kind of almost going back to the roots and discovering all these raw soul samples and tracks, kind of like uh, exposing people to new old music again. It almost seems like you've had your finger on every little part of hip hop, which seems like somebody would do if they really love the art form.
Absolutely. And if you really look at it, a lot of people are, they have their hands in a whole lot of different elements or different parts of hip hop. Most guys who MC, they probably DJ as well, or they make beats, or they do something. Many of them are artists as well. So it's not, I don't feel like I'm, unique with that. But I have done a lot of things. When you look at it, I haven't done anything that's really huge or real big, but I've done a lot of things. You know what I mean? So I do like that term Renaissance man. It's really just being, what they call a creative, where,
Yeah,
you express your love for the music however you can. You know what I mean? And really a love of the art, because you're talking about graffiti and drawing as well. So
yeah,
yeah, you just express that however you can. And yeah, I've done most of it, to be honest with you.
yeah.
I even b-boy a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Hmm. Hmm.
A little bit.
We got
Not real great at
exclusive.
it, but I did a little bit.
Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all.
Was your dad an influence on you, like musically?
Well, just because of the genes, my father he was a musician himself, and he put out records. He had his own record label, and he was a singer. and a performer and all that. But I didn't grow up close to my father. So a lot of that is just I got his genes. So probably just inherited some of that, you know what I mean? Trying to do things in music, you know.
Do you have his record, The Naturals, Make a Move?
I do not have that one. I just
Okay.
found out about that when he passed away last year. I didn't even know about that one, but I knew about some other ones he'd done because he had his own label, and also he produced the Otis Goodwin record. He's a family member. He's a cousin of ours, and that's a pretty dope little funk record. But yeah, I didn't know about the Naturals at all. To be honest, I don't really like that record too much. I don't think it's all that great, but hey, it's still something. It's part of his legacy and something he did, and something I can point to and tell people, yeah, my dad did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super rare. So thought maybe if you did, you maybe have a box of them, make some change.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
not at
speaking
all.
of those, so before we change the topic,
Mhm.
is it possible? I know you don't really physically dig for records like you used to. At least for that's what I've heard you say.
No, it's true.
Is it still possible you give us 10 old school beats to catch?
10 old school beats to catch, just
Yeah,
off the top, just
things,
like
things,
that.
things things you've been listening to. Things you've been listening to. Yeah, just off the top, like first things that come to mind that you're messing with right now that you're excited about listening to
All right,
that we need to hear.
all right. Does it have to be vinyl? Because again, my
Man,
digging now is not just
nah.
really.
I know,
I
I know
don't
you don't.
do.
I know you don't dig for vinyl. How are you finding it? Just what kind of things do you want us to hear about that you're excited about?
Oh, nothing I'm really excited about because again, I'm not that deep into it as I used to be. But should have let me know. I would have got a little
My bad.
little
Yeah,
little list
I'm not
together
trying
for
to
you.
surprise you.
Like even if I wasn't using my phone right now, I could go to my little playlist on my phone and come up with something for you. Yeah, but no, there's nothing that would be impressive I could really bring up right now. I'm mostly
Yeah.
thinking about newer music more so than old classic stuff. You know what I mean?
Maybe a better question is how do you expose yourself to new music? How are you finding things if you're not digging in the crates like online? Like how do you discover things?
Like I said, lately I haven't been doing much, but let me go back a little bit when I was still digging. Like a lot of it is hearing stuff on YouTube or on social media. You got a lot of people who post their records or post stuff they're listening to,
Yeah,
and if it's dope, I'll save it, and then I'll try to find it, and then I do the digital version of digging now, just online, and every now and then though. If I can't find a good quality MP3 or FLAC or something like that, then I will go to eBay and get the record. It's rare now, but I do that sometimes.
yeah. All right, that's a good answer. I wasn't trying to catch you off guard. I was just curious. Kind of like how
Right.
do you like? I guess to that same question, how do you keep the fire lit? What keeps you passionate about doing things? Just haven't been around things for so long.
Again, most of my passion now is with doing new stuff.
Yeah,
And it's mostly the rap stuff. Like I don't know if I'll do any more of my like Soul Man World of Beats mixes. I don't know if I'm gonna do any of that. I'm not really
sure.
I got a bunch of them honestly in the can that are like almost done and not really finished, and I could just like finish them up and put them out. But I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. You know what I mean? It's like everybody does their own mixes. You know what I mean? People find their own music, and you kind of don't need. It's not like it was back in the pre-internet days. That's when really I did a whole lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
And now everybody can find all this stuff. It's not as rare as it used to be.
yeah. Good
I
point.
think I think physicals are still sought after though. Like if you did a tape, I think people would definitely cop that, especially if you kept it, kind of limited quantity.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
can
I'll
you
keep that
share?
in mind.
Yeah. Can you share your experience like working with Cutting Records and Easy Street?
Okay. Cutting records, that's my first record deal. That's with me and my cousin Rus Ace. And we were the Devastating Two. And after doing a show didn't even really go all that well. Hashim from Cutting Records, he was there, and he wanted to sign us to a deal. So they signed us. Then we went up to New York and we cut two songs, Running Things and We're Live. And unfortunately, before we could get the record to come out, they had a label dispute. I think Hashim and other owner of the label, Aldo Marin, I believe his name was,
Mhm.
they got into a dispute, and it just messed up our whole deal, and our record never came out. But it was still a great experience just to see what it was like to work with people who were on that level, and to see what it was like to record in the studio. Yeah, it was invaluable. It was incredible. Um, so I don't look at it as a bad experience at all. It was my introduction to the music biz, and kind of gave me an idea of what the music business is all about. Not to get your hopes up too high. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? With Easy Street, that was one where took a chance. We had I'd done the baritone Tip Love record, which for those who don't know, that's kind of like a what somebody might call a novelty type record, but it was me doing two different voices. You know what I'm saying? I did these two characters,
Yeah, they called it
and
like proto Quasimodo.
proto
Yeah,
Quasimodo,
it's fine to
exactly,
know.
exactly. I don't know if anybody was doing that at the time other than me. Um, so at first we had offers from major labels, because when we first did the Living Foul album and shopped it to people were going crazy over it. I pretty much thought I was on my way to doing something big. But right at that time, all the sampling lawsuits and everything started coming out, and the whole Tipper Gore, the whole thing about lyrics, all
PMRC.
that was coming out. It all happened around the same time, and then labels didn't want to touch the Living Foul album, so we went to Easy Street instead, which is a smaller label, and said, let's try to do it that way and see what happens. But Easy Street really didn't know how to market um, hip hop music, and they once we gave it to them, they sat on it and they sat on it and sat on it, and I knew that the sound of music was changing, and that what we had done there was not going to fly at that time, and it just became kind of one of those lost things. But again, it was a valuable experience to learn how the music industry works. You
Mhm.
see, just because you sign a deal, just because you think you got a hot record, it doesn't mean anything. It could go totally the other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I take it all as valuable experience.
So you had copies of? Did you have the masters? Did you have original recordings? Because they put that record out on 45. Didn't DWG end up putting it out?
Oh, the running things, the one from Cutting Records, Devastating too.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we had something.
yeah.
I know I'm not gonna say it's the original masters, but yeah, somehow somebody got a hold of it and it came out, and it kind of is what it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just it's good that at least some people got to hear the music. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Was In Effect your label, or is
In
that your
effect, was
label?
yeah, that was my label. Me and my brother and my sister.
Is that still
Um,
active? Like, are you still putting out stuff on In Effect?
No, no, no. That was back a long time ago. Yeah, that was back in the '80s. Yeah, that was just our response to the situation with Cutting Records. Since that didn't work, we started looking into the music business and seeing how it would be to actually put out our own record.
Mhm.
And well, even before that, we looked at the business and saw that record contracts are all like just, they're robbing you. Anytime you sign a record contract, they're robbing you.
Right.
So we felt we were better off trying to do it ourselves. And we tried to do it, but we didn't really know enough. I mean, when I first went to a record or to a radio station to get On Tempo Jack played, they pretty much told me, without saying it, they told me, yeah, you're gonna have to pay us to play the record.
Mhm.
And I didn't understand that part of the game. I felt that, I bring you a dope record, you play it. It's that simple. No,
Yeah.
it don't work like that. You know what I mean? So that kind of soured me from really pushing the record and doing more with it. So, luckily people found out about it years later. But yeah, that's kind of how that went down.
That kind of makes me think. We talk about commercial radio always being driven by the dollar. Payola, and it's no secret. That's been a thing. But like, what do you think? Now that I think about it, I guess college radio has always really kind of been like more of like a tastemaker for contemporary music, or used to be. And then I'm thinking about the UK and even Japan and Germany and all these places that seem to be smarter than us when it comes to this music that kind of got cast aside. And they why do you think that is, that we sell our music short, and other other communities recognize it when we don't sometimes.
Yeah, I wish I had the answer to that, but that's kind of how it's always been. If you
Yeah.
look at documentaries about music from back in the 60s, I was looking at the Stax documentary just recently,
I was just
and they were
watching
saying the
that
same
episode
thing
too.
back then.
Yeah, I'm watching
You
that
know what
right
I'm saying? That they were accepted more overseas than they were right here in States. And I think over here in the States, they really latched on to the most commercial stuff. You know what I mean? If you're doing stuff that's more underground, they're not gonna be attracted to that on the same level as some other people. And also you have the whole thing where they're always looking for something new. So if you're doing music that's older music, they kind of like that's played out. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear the newest, latest thing, even if it's not as good. We don't care. We want the newest thing. The newest, most commercial thing. Where you know, like you have people here who don't even know, like some of the legendary rappers don't even know anything about them. Some of the younger people, but you go overseas and they could tell you everything about them. They could tell you what they ate this morning for breakfast. You know what I mean? They know all the details. You know what I mean? So I have so much respect for like with me with the stuff I do. So much respect for my people who follow me over in the UK
now.
in Europe, Japan, even um, all over. You know what I mean? And I appreciate them, and I know they want me to do the kind of music I do, which is that real kind of old school based hip hop. And yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm keep trying to be real as I can with it. You know what I'm saying?
Crash Slaughter says, "What's up? Big up to
What
Crash
up,
Slaughter."
Crash?
As much love as you've received from the UK, have you ever toured there or considered moving there?
Oh no, no. I got a family here. I'm my roots are laid down here. But I definitely hope that next year I can get over there. I've had some little things that were supposed to be popping off, but because like I said, I have roots here, I have a family, I have a job here, so it's not that easy for me to get away and do certain things. But I definitely hope at some point that I'm going to be able to come over to the UK, take over the UK, do shows all over the place. You know what I mean? So that is definitely the plan. Before I'm done with this, I absolutely want to do that. So we'll see how that goes.
In Japan too, have you been there?
I have not been to Japan. I've done a lot of traveling, man. I haven't done a whole lot again because of work and because of family. I haven't done it.
Hmm.
I would love to go to Japan. I've heard so many great things from some of my people who go there all the time. My man Scheme Richards, he goes there. He's told me stuff, and a lot of other people. And yeah, that's definitely one of the places on my bucket list. I want to get over there for sure.
And that's got to be a great fringe benefit of being an originator or a name in hip hop when it comes to traveling. It seems like I haven't been to Japan. I haven't been to the UK, but I see so many of these folks that are able to perform over there and just treated with respect for what they contributed, and a lot of people really seem to be into it. When you get to the point where you've got more time, when you don't have to worry about family as much, man, I feel like you could definitely travel, man, I'd envy you. That seemed like an incredible thing to do.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to do it. And like I said, next year, that's when I might be able to start doing all that stuff. My schedule will be freed up way more. My kids are all done. They're done with college. They're
Yeah,
done with school. It's time for them to find their own place to live, and and I'll have a lot more freedom. Work's gonna be different. I won't have to worry about that so much, and yeah, I can really concentrate on music if I want to, and that's one of the things I definitely want to do. I want to go to the UK. I want to go to Europe. I'd love to go to Japan. I'd love to go everywhere, but we'll see how that goes. And definitely if you're in any of those places, look out for me starting next year.
mm, mm.
DJ Milando says salute from overseas. Shout out DJ Milando.
Salute.
Um, you said in your interview 9 years ago with Chris Reed that you were probably going to retire that next year. When will you retire?
I have no plans at all of retiring. I hope I never retire. I'll never say that I'm going to be done with it, even if I feel like it, because like every so often I'll feel like, yeah, this is enough. I've done enough.
Yeah, maybe that was
But
your mind
what
state at the time.
Yeah, what has happened actually, it's not even like I've really been pushing so hard to keep going as far as like, especially with the rap stuff. People come to me and say, hey, let's do this, Phill, let's do that. And almost all my projects, maybe there's a couple that I push for more so, but most of them is other people coming to me saying, hey, we can do this, let's make this happen.
Mhm.
And yeah, as long as people want me to keep doing it, as long as somebody wants to buy the records or stream or whatever, yeah, I'll keep doing it, man. I'm good. As long as my health is good and I feel great right now, even in my old age, I feel young as ever. So yeah, I'll keep doing it, man. I'll keep doing it.
I think some of the collaborations you guys did were really neat. Like in the maybe in the earlier 2000s, I think you did some cuts with like Oxygen and like Joran Bombay and guys like that. Even just about the beat, you know, digging for beats and the whole hip hop just mentality, not necessarily you know rapping about what was popular at the time, but the things that those that are really into it, you know,
Right.
songs about the culture that you guys were doing. I thought that was really incredible. You guys kind of came together, like minded people, and did projects like that.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Like you said, like-minded people. You get with people on the same wavelength as you, who like the same kind of music you like, and you get together. And I always felt that was the way to do it, is to try to build with other like-minded people, so they have their audience and it might not be a huge audience. You have your audience, it might not be a huge audience, the other person might have, and you put those audiences together and hopefully that can make something that's a lot bigger. You know what I'm saying? So that was always my idea, and I'm still down, to collaborate with like-minded people. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Pate Mix says he's got Paul and Phil 7 inch on double at home here in France. Big up, Future Man. Big up, Mr. Pate Mix.
All
Uh,
right, that's what's up. That's what's
yeah.
up.
I was curious, was Schoolie D an influence on your art? Because he's got the yellow labels with his hand drawn art on his stuff. I was curious if that was an influence or any Philly graph writers, maybe.
Schoolie D actually was a big influence. Um, I was a fan of Schoolie D before PSK when he had his first couple of records out, Gangsta Boogie, and I forget the other one was called CIA maybe or something like that. I forget what the
Mhm.
other one with the green label. But no, I was a big fan of him because first of all, he came out and just right from the gate, he was being real raw with it. You know what I mean? And really street, really underground. And when he came out with PSK, that was like that's one of the greatest hip hop records ever made. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And when he made that, that was one of the records that made me say, "That's what I want to do. I want to do something like that. Not exactly the same, but that energy that he brought, that's kind of what I want to do." You know what I mean? So yeah, there's PSK and Gucci Time.
Mhm.
Those are records that can never be duplicated. If you guys know the backstory, how those records were made, how they were recorded?
I'd like to
Mhm.
hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, that was like one of the first I think hip hop LPs I got, and I just got it off the strength of the cover art, and then I was like blown away, like hearing PSK and Gucci Time, just listening to that over and over again, and then eventually I think I did find what was the earlier one,
Gangster
Gangster.
Boogie.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I thought things like the reverb in PSK were pretty incredible. You know, things that other people weren't doing. Just the whole sound of it was just sounded different.
But yeah, we'd
Well,
love
that's the
love to hear
thing.
more
It
about it.
was different. It was recorded. All right. It wasn't done with like like the reverb wasn't a machine. It was a live reverb. They had these huge plates that were used for like orchestras in the studio that they recorded in, and it's like I think after they recorded it, they got rid of all this stuff, so you couldn't even go back to that studio and try to duplicate what he'd done. It was like a record that could not be duplicated.
Just
A
implement.
lot of people tried. Marley Marl tried to get that sound. A lot of people tried to get that sound. It's impossible to get that sound again on any record. That dusted sound of the reverb. So that's a one of one record. It's one of the greatest records in hip hop. When you put that together with the way that Schoolie was so raw with what he was saying and just not holding his tongue, cursing, talking about shooting people and stuff like that. People say it's the first gangster record. I don't know, but it was no holds barred. It was raw. It was crazy, and I feel good just knowing that's a Philly record. Me being somebody who now reps Philly, yeah, I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud for the city.
Mm.
And actually, I guess like Morty was just saying, like the fact that he did his a lot of his own artwork too, like his
Yeah,
freestyle styles, and even drew on the labels, you know, the covers. Whereas like you did a lot of your artwork, which was incredible, you know, very much like comic influenced, but also hip hop at the same time. And I can't think of a lot of other artists that were doing their own artwork like that. Maybe like Shock G, but
right. Yeah, and I can't remember when I did the On Temple Jack record if I was thinking about what Schoolie had done with his. I probably was. I probably was. I know we used yellow not because of him. No, we used it because I read somewhere that that's like the most eye-catching color for a record label. Yellow with black writing, it'll stand out more than anything else, and that's why we use yellow. I don't think I was thinking about Schoolie as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, just the stuff he was doing at the time was so dope. It had to be some kind of an influence on me for sure.
hmm
Yeah, definitely pops. How did you connect with Daryl James at Rap Sheet? I know they saw like or you got an opportunity to do the comic strip in there, but how did you actually connect with them? They came to you, right?
Yeah, they came to me. What happened when I was with Easy Street Records and I did the Baritone Tip Love album? One of the ways we promoted it was I would do these one sheets that would go out to whatever, any kind of media or whatever, and they were cartoons. It was Baritone Tip Love cartoons on on both sides of a printed sheet of paper, and we'd send those out, and people would get that. And Daryl James and Rap Sheet saw one of those, and they said, "Hey, you want a job as a cartoonist for our publication?" And I said, "Yeah, hell yeah, why not? I mean, I'm the rap career is not really going where I wanted to go right now, so yeah, let's do that." And that getting in with them led to me becoming a writer and journalist with them as well. Yeah.
man, it's in the journalist. Speaking of the journalism thing, I think I was looking for some of your old blog page where you talked about where you had the interviews and you had 10 old school beats to catch, and you know you'd ask people, you know, to recommend cuts. And I think I had a hard time actually finding your site, even though it's worldofbeats.com. But you know,
Hmm.
if I just go to Google it, nothing would come up. And I think I found it from a link from another site. Um,
Okay.
but thanks for leaving that site up, by the way, because I even though this stuff is 20 years old, you know, this site is 20 years old. There's so much information on the internet. I learned a lot of things from, you know, the the back alleys of the internet. The stuff that's still up from when it was a little bit more of a novelty. Um,
Right.
and man, along those lines, my homie Billy Crystal Fingers Eric wanted me to ask you. I asked him, you know, because he's put me on a lot of your beat tapes, stuff like that, and he wanted me to ask you, out of all the tapes, CDs, all the different mixes that you put together, are there ones that I feel like when you do things like that, you're almost trying to make your own mixes, your own mixtapes, the things to listen to that you want to hear. Which ones would you
Absolutely.
which ones would you go back to and actually come back to and listen more than once?
Okay. That's pretty easy for me actually. It's the one I did called Drugs.
Yeah, Dre.
That's my favorite, or at least it's like 1A, 1B with the one I did called The Truth Is Forever. Those are my two favorites. Then after that, I really like the one I did called Beautiful, because and also the one I did called Coolin'. Um, because I think on the Beautiful one, well, first with Truth Is Forever, I wanted to just push the envelope. And I guess I really pushed the envelope first with Coolin', and I did that before any of those other ones.
Mhm.
And just to do something different that nobody else was doing, something I wasn't sure that people would even like, and it went over well. So that gave me, when Cooling went over well, that gave me the gave me the feeling that okay, I can do The Truth Is Forever, where I started getting into the psych rock and like the mellow psych rock. So that I tried that out. People like that. So then I said, I'm going to do Beautiful. It's going to be a whole mix of nothing but mellow, laid back psych rock. You know what I mean? And again, I had no idea if people would like it, but again, it was well received. So that's why I tell everybody to take chances, do your own thing. Don't worry about what other people doing. Just take a chance. You never know if people gonna like it. But if you like it, there's probably gonna be some other people who like it as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those would be my favorites. Those ones I mentioned, and Never Stop Digging. That one's cool too.
Yeah. The drugs mix. I've got a few records that I recognized as soon as I once I was familiar. I was like, oh yeah, this is on the drugs mix, and I think the Fanny Adams record was on there, wasn't it?
That was on Never Stop Digging.
That was on Never Stop Digging.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is you definitely put me on to certain things. It was hard to figure out what they were because you can't just go find track lists, especially 20 years later. You can't find track lists for those mixes.
Right.
But
Right.
if you
Right.
really, really, really like something on there, you can find out what it is, and you definitely put me and I'm sure many people up on music like that.
Yeah, and the thing about it, a lot of that stuff was, I guess, those that a lot of it was done in the early days of the internet,
Yeah,
so it wasn't as easy to find that stuff back then as it is now. Nowadays, I mean, you can Shazam a lot of it, you can find out what a lot of it is. But back then, it wasn't so easy as that whole aura of mystery that surrounded a lot of the stuff. It was really cool, and that's one of the things I think that hurts you from doing mixes now because you can still do mixes and nobody can know what it is if you really go deep.
yeah,
But it's hard now. It's hard. It's hard because so much stuff is out. So much stuff is on YouTube. Um, so much stuff has been re-released or put on compilations or whatever. So that aura of mystery just isn't there like it used to be. But yeah, those were the days, man, where you could just put out this music that nobody knew what really was, and then that was the beauty of it to me. You hear something on a mix, then you find it yourself, and that's like a victory. That's major. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, a lot of that has kind of been taken away. But like I said, if you dig deep enough, you can still do stuff that nobody knows what it is.
you still got a lot of stuff on there. I can't Shazam. So like, I'm just for what it's worth. There's a lot of stuff that people know by repetition. I haven't been around for a long time, but there's a couple
Mhm.
things on there that I'd like to know about, and I've tried every trick, man. So for what
Well,
it's
hit me
worth,
up later if you can think of anything. Hit me up later. I might if I can remember what it was. I'll let you know. I don't want you to die without knowing what that
I might take
what
you up
that
on that.
mystery break was.
I might take you up on that. Yeah.
Cool.
In the it's C-Doc interview, you said you were big on light rock. Are there any light rock bands that you really like or enjoy, or particular like style or vibe you look for or into?
All right. So light rock, that's pretty much just pop, pop hit type stuff. Although I do have a mix that I never finished that is all light rock, and it's stuff that's not hits. It's stuff that's like on albums. It's stuff that's on like rare obscure records. Yeah, I gotta remember. I might have to still put that one out.
You should.
Yeah. But as far as are there any groups that nah, it's like individual records. It's just individual records that out here that are dope. And it's like it's so many of them, man. I can't even I wouldn't even know where to start if you like wanted a name. I wouldn't even know where to start.
We were going to get into your discography, if that's all right with you. Unless Sam, you had anything you wanted to ask before we dive
Oh,
in there.
no, I'm just soaking it in. I'm just soaking it in, man. I'm just absorbing.
Like Sam said, Phil's a Renaissance man, so there's a lot to cover, and we might have to move through some things pretty quickly. This is a photo of you and Mr. Supreme, who was out in Richmond recently for a record show and DJing and digging, and I think Sam, you got to meet him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It was cool.
Phil, you said one of his tapes was an influence, I think, on Archaeologist Classics or maybe World of Beats or both. Do you remember what that tape was or the name of it or anything?
All right, well, just to be for full, um, you know, just to fully understand, Mr. Supreme is very instrumental to me becoming who I became in the digging world because when when um when I was writing for Rap Sheet and I started the whole World of Beats column, he sent me this tape and a list, and he told me what the records were and everything. It blew my mind because I was digging and stuff, and I knew some beats, I knew some records, but this was a whole nother level that he exposed me to. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other people knew, because I know the people who were going to the Roosevelt record shows and all that, they knew a lot of this stuff. But at that time, I didn't know people who had that deep kind of knowledge. People were very secretive and wouldn't tell you things. So I was finding out stuff on my own. But he sent me that list, and that just opened up a whole world to me. And he sent me the tape, and it's like, yeah, this is unbelievable. So he's instrumental to me, just not just for the tapes that I did, but for just my whole knowledge and understanding of digging in the crates. You know what I mean? That deeper level of record knowledge. You know, he's definitely one of the kings of digging. You know what I mean? He's a dude. Oh, he almost made me want to quit digging because I'm never going to get to his level. You know, I might as well just give up now. 'Cause I'm never going to get to his level. He's that deep into it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think I had already been doing like just putting my records on tape, like the Archaeologist Classics. But I think when he sent his tape, and then when he introduced me or put me up on Benny B from the Bay Area, ABB Records, you know, and Benny, he's another god of music and of records. And again, Benny just again opened my mind to how deep the record world really is. And his tapes he would send me also from his radio show was mind blowing to me. And it made me just go deeper and deeper. And I started realizing that what you have to do to get these records, you can't just go into regular record stores. You got to go deeper. And yeah, I thank both of them for exposing me to that world and making me, you know, go deeper. There is no Soul Man World of Beats without Mr. Supreme and Benny B.
I
Man,
think too. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say what surprises me about those guys when Supreme was in town. You know, he went record digging, and he even bought. I had a little booth set up at the record, so he even bought a few things for me. I just remember thinking, this guy's been digging for what 30 some years. How is he still finding stuff that interests him? How is he still finding things that he doesn't have? It just shows you how much music is in the world. Len Funk. Did you? I know he was around during the Roosevelt days. I don't know if you were acquainted with Len Funk, Phil.
Oh yeah, no, that's my man, Sergeant.
He's a
Sergeant Lynn.
man. The
Yeah,
sergeant.
yeah, no, again, that's another king of digging. If you ever look at his Instagram
Man,
page, a lot of people don't know just how incredible Lynn is with his record knowledge. Yeah, and
so
he used to come to Roosevelt and I'd see him there. And then just he exposed me to a lot just on Instagram. Like it's like crazy records that's like, you know, like where are you getting these records from? You know? So yeah, no, that's definitely another king.
we're lucky enough. Mordecai and I are lucky enough to live in this. So Len lives out here where we do. So he's kind of my muse a lot of times. Like, oh, if I find something obscure, I'll try to see if he's heard it, you know, or he'll throw me little nuggets like you need to check for this, and like he'll pull stuff out. Man, it's just incredible. One of the best things about the music, I don't know, the hobby of music to me is people like that just show you that you can always be discovering, and just when you think you know something, there's more to know. There's more to discover.
If you're really into it for real, it never ends. And again, that's another thing that made me say, you know, this is the quest to get every break or to get every dope record. It's impossible because I, after all these years of me doing it, I'll hear a record I never heard before that is incredible. Not just something that's kind of mid. I mean, something that's really dope. It's like, how did I not hear this before? How did I not know about this record? How is it even possible?
Yep.
But it happens because that's how deep the world of music is, man. You know, when you start getting into, you know, the private press and you start going outside of the US, you go all around the world and you realize that they had, you know, music scenes or funk scenes or whatever kind of scenes all over the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, it's never ending. It's truly never ending.
I'm buying lounge records now and light rock records for certain grooves, you know. And I never, you know, when I first started buying records, I would go straight to the hip hop section, and now that's like one of the last places I go because that world is so much smaller than the rest of music, and I find things every time almost just because you know you start looking at lounge records or educational records or like southern rock records, and you find all these awesome parts, you know.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned lounge records because that was one of my things for a while. You know how you get on a kick and you're looking for all records in a certain genre.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. As like my last days of the Roosevelt or the record shows in New York, I was trying to master the lounge records and the easy listening records and trying to find grooves and stuff that people could sample. And yeah, I went deep in it. Even now, I have a ill like easy listening lounge record collection that I don't know if those records ever like went up in value and they have some kind of like real monetary value now. Last I saw it, a lot of the records didn't really have any kind of special value. But
Most of them don't. Some do.
oh, do okay,
Some
okay,
do. You
okay,
know, I think, like you said, they're so under the radar that people don't even think to check for them.
right.
I want to shout out Len Funk. He's going to be coming up on the show soon. And
Yeah.
I want to, before we jump
Dope.
off the slide, I know we've talked a bit here. G.U.N is to your left, our right. And big up to him as well. We'd
Yeah.
love to have him and
Great
Mr. Supreme on the
G.U.N.
show. Yep.
Yeah, the great G.U.N. I'm still hoping that me and him are gonna do some music together. He's supposed to be sending me a beat. I don't know. I don't think Jake's ever gonna send me that beat. Jake's too busy playing golf and living the good life
You hit
and
him.
producing for superstars. So
You
nah,
gotta hit him
Jake is
up.
my man though. He's one of the great modern day producers, And yeah, it would be wonderful if ever we get a chance to work together.
Yeah, I want to hear you over his beats and Buck Wild, Diamond D, Primo, and Pete
Yeah.
Rock. I think were some of the ones that I was thinking of that you may have a way to make that happen. So on Tempo Jack, you've talked about this a bit, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. We got a bunch more to cover too, but just want to show it, shout it out. This is basically your first record, right?
First record, yep.
In effect, which you said was your label. You did the artwork. It's being reissued. I think Traffic you said first, and then DWG, right?
Traffic they did the official reissue of On Tempo Jack. DWG they put it on the album,
Ah,
and I think also we did the instrumental on the Be Intelligent EP I did with them. So, but yeah, the actual reissue was Traffic.
okay. Sam, did you have anything specific on this? I just want to move on since I feel like it's been covered here a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to still talk about. No, like I said, I've just been listening. It's all interesting to me.
Next is the Baritone Tip Love cassette, 1991, Easy Street, and True Urban. What was True Urban? Was that like a subsidiary of Easy Street?
That was my label because one of the things when I signed a deal with them, I said I wanted to be Easy Street, but I also wanted to be like my label, like a subsidiary. You know what I mean? That's like my little imprint. It's really just something to put on the record. It's not like I really like had an actual record label or
You
anything,
have
but
an
it's something
office
I wanted to
with
put the name out there
staff.
to build something and see if we could go further with it. Unfortunately, it didn't go any further than that. But yeah, that was my whole concept.
At
How
the
did you
time, but then it caught a life of its own later on. Go ahead, Sam.
so was the cassette released with like the full inlay and all that?
Oh yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
That
Now,
actually
one thing I want to say though, what's really dope is that they printed up like a CD cover for this. All I've ever seen is the cover. I never saw the actual CD, so I don't know if they just did a mock-up or something, or if they actually put out some CDs that I don't know about. I don't even know, but that's something collectors might want to keep an eye out for. And if you do see Baritone Tip Love Living Foul CD out there,
Get
let
one
me
for
know.
Phil.
I'd like to get it myself. But yeah, I have the like the it's not the J card, but the insert or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have that.
Nice. The next one I wanted to talk about, hopefully Sam's coming back because he kind of put me onto this one. Soma causing mass hysteria. And we also got a special guest here, surprise special guest. Soma is here.
Are you
Big up
serious?
to Soma. Yep.
Mighty Most
What's
Chill.
up, man? What's up, Carm?
Mighty Most. What's up, baby?
Up? Man, special guest. That's
look at
what's
this.
up.
So
Now it's a show.
Right.
Oh man.
Now we got a podcast.
So
That's
you
what's up.
go by Big Calm now? Are we supposed to?
That's my social media name, just so people can't find me. No, you can call me Soma. That's fine.
He doesn't want to get hit up about the records. He doesn't have any more of the records to give away or sell.
I don't want my bosses to find them on social media and say, what were you saying back in the day, Carmen? Please explain these lyrics.
Yeah, that's a
And
shout out to you, Mordecai, for getting these guys here, man. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you. Phill, what's up, man? Hang on, Phill. I haven't seen Phill in like 20 some years. Actual talking, hearing his voice.
Man,
that's crazy, right? And
it is.
yeah, because we still deal with each other all the time on social media and on emails and stuff. Right. We were just talking the other day, in fact. But yeah, we haven't actually talked and broke bread and all that in like a long time, right?
It's been a while.
And listen, guys. This is something too. It might be interesting to people who dig for beats and who know old school breaks and everything. We recorded in Philly at the house of this guy called T Life. I don't know if you ever heard of T Life or you know about that record, but T Life, that's a classic old school break they used to play back in the days. And we recorded at his house. And he would tell us all kinds of stories about when he was like on major labels and stuff he would do. So that's just a little thing for people who know their beats. Yeah, we were rocking with T Life back in, I guess that was the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys are like, yeah, we don't know who T Life is, but nah, T Life, that's a dope. It's a dope break and a dope record, and yeah, it was cool.
I've had that.
T Life
I've had that
cool
record
dude too.
I've had that record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indie Vinyls wanted us to get to the Soma releases, so he's very excited.
Shout out Skelly, yeah. Indie Vinyls. That's my dude. Shout
out to Indie Vinyls. So Sam, did you have anything specific you wanted to ask about this particular one?
So you just a regular dude now, I guess. I'm assuming.
That's a nice way to say retired.
Like you're retired. You're a retired rapper.
I mean, I'm like just a feature rapper. I'm waiting for Phill to throw me a bone. Now that he's a big star, give me the feature on something.
Right.
Which I think might maybe in the works.
So how many
probably
people
tour with him, right? In the UK and Japan.
Life?
What's that, Sam?
No, wait. How many people in your daily life know you're a beast?
I would say most. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
I still dabble. You know what I mean? I just like to create art, and even when I get away from it, I really got away from it when my son was young and I was coaching his baseball team and his basketball teams, and I just sort of took a bit step back because I just did not have the time to dedicate to it. And I'm a super perfectionist when it comes to writing songs and hip hop and my music in general. And if I don't feel like I have the time to dedicate to it or it's not right, I just won't do it.
Well, let me tell you guys something though. Soma is one of the unsung beasts of lyricism. You know what I'm saying? If you look at like on the YouTube channel for that record right there, Mass Hysteria, and you see like the comments, it's like he is the god of indie hip hop back in the 90s. They pray to his altar, man.
I'm one of them, man.
So we hope we're gonna get him on some of the stuff I'm doing coming up, and yeah, I would love to see Soma come out and have his own thing going. You know what I'm saying? Because he deserves it. He's that level of a lyricist, like next level for sure.
Man, that record right there. That's actually how I heard it is through suggestions on YouTube maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And it just stuck with me, and I probably spent 2 years looking for that record. At any price, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody was selling it. I had to stay on the grind until I found somebody in Japan had it, and I bought it from them. But that's I mean, one of the best like boastful boom bap records to me. Production wise, everything. It's just like incredible track. And go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the 12-inch after this. I'm sure we're going to talk about that too, but that was pretty incredible too, I thought.
I appreciate that. I wish I had a vinyl or two of the Master Stereo left. I had a bunch of them, but I was just giving them away to DJs and anybody that I thought would play it. So like I burnt through them quickly. See, Phill was smart. He held on to his. And sold them for max value.
I think I even hit
I'm a collector. I got to hold on to something.
I think I even DM'd Phill. Asking him if he had one.
He's not
Finally, I got mine though. But yeah. I was going to ask you this though. You said there was a remix that got a little bit of run. Do you remember saying that?
There was. I don't think it's on the. I think the guy that did it. I think he took it down. To be honest with you, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it was a guy that I was doing some stuff with. So I've had a few fleeted attempts at trying to make a comeback, you know, and so I would say let's say around 2012, 13. This DJ around the way here, he made a remix to it, and I started, you know, recording some songs over there. Nothing ever came to fruition, but there was a remix to it. I couldn't even point you in the right direction. I know my man Jay Allen did a nice remix to it, but I don't think he's released it either.
Mm-hmm.
Out of Harris.
Jay, my man
yeah.
Jay, what piece for Jay?
Yeah, I'm trying to strong arm him for some beats as well. But Master
Indie
Stereo,
Vinyl
though,
says,
listen,
go ahead.
that the reason why it's so boastful, I mean, I remember that was like my intro to the world. It was like a far-fetched plan. It was my college roommate said he was going to start a record label and put me out. He knew this guy Phill was going to make beats. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it started coming to fruition. And I remember I met Phill for the first time in Philly, and it was like the most hip hop shit I had ever seen. When I went to his apartment, there was just records everywhere. I mean, floor to ceiling. I was just like, oh, like this is dope. And
the original world of beats,
dude, it was sick. And I was just like, okay, like I have to be the illest ever. I felt like it was like that was getting semi big time. I was way out of my realm, out of my comfort zone. And I just was like, I have to make this the most difficult rap that I could even get. I purposefully tried to make it impossible to like learn the words to. Anywhere I could add alliteration to, I added it. There have to be more words that start with the letter P, more M's in a row. More words have to rhyme in a row. I can't take any breaths. It was one of those. And
how many takes was it? Or
I don't think it was many. I mean, I was like a thin dude back then. I think I was 20 years old when I recorded that.
Yeah.
I think we were at DJ Miz's studio, and I think I flew through it pretty easily.
Did we record that one with Miz?
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to remember. I know we did
Miz.
like some other ones that didn't come out with Miz. I couldn't remember where we recorded that one at.
That was my first song. Yeah. So that was my first intro to all these people. Phill, these engineers, Philadelphia in general, because I'm from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I just put like every ounce of anything that I had into that. So, and it was dope.
So Ben Salem's on the label. What's the connection with Ben Salem? So
that's, I guess, a suburb of Philadelphia, and that's where my college friend was from, and he started the indie label for the sole purpose, really, of just trying to put me on. You know, he had a lot of faith in me, and him and his buddy started this label, and they had Phill as the plug for the beats, and I said, yeah, I'm on board. Let's do it. Didn't know if anything would come of it or not, but I'm always down to make music. So we did.
You're actually Pittsburgh, and he's Philly. I didn't realize that.
Yes. So Phil's Philly. I'm Pittsburgh. We had a common connection with a couple guys that I met in college. So I went to IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. It's a couple hours north of Pittsburgh. So there was a lot of Philly folks there. So
Indie Vinyl says Soma rips it so hard on Master Stereo, incredible flow. Still needs that record. He only has the 2MD release. And he also shouts out the DJ, mighty DJ Miz,
Miz,
Fresh Co and Miz, right? Philly producer.
Absolutely, yeah. We did a lot of work with him. Shout out to Miz.
I'm just going chronologically here, I think, because I know, or maybe I need to update the slides. We had talked about the other Soma record, "You Ain't Ready." Maybe have more traction or play. Do you want to talk about that, Soma? While I see if I can get the slides to reload.
Yeah, so Master Stereo was like the first intro, try to introduce the world to Soma. It did okay, you know what I mean? It was like, I think it got overlooked a little bit because I feel like the hip hop landscape started changing slightly to the whole keeping it real movement, and you know, the Queensbridge and the Nas and the Mobb Deep and the Wu and all that was sort of getting a lot of the airplay. And that Master Stereo was just so up tempo and so just ripping the mic that for the second single, I was like, let's let's slow it down a little bit and let's get a little more, you know, I don't want to say mainstream, but something that more people are going to like other than just absolute pure hip hop heads and nobody else. So,
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
and
Yeah.
that was definitely what was being thought at that time, like as far as like the beat that we chose and everything. And then like they needed a chorus and they got me to do the chorus. And it was like it was the shiny suit era with Puffy and them. So we started trying to do the throw your hands in the air stuff. And Soma never liked any of that. He was like, take that off. But that's kind of what was happening. We were trying to tap into that whole energy, but I mean, the record got played. It got played in the daytime in New York, in Philly, and Soma, you could tell the story, but you actually went to the Stretch and Bobbito show, right? Off of that.
Yeah, we did You Ain't Ready single. It was okay. I wasn't really feeling the beat. Phill flipped the whole thing, remixed it, redid the hook, and it was absolutely crazy. I mean, it was super dope. And everybody was feeling it. And yeah, I was getting played in the daytime. I went out to Philly, it was on Power 99. On like the little top 8 at 8, it'd be like number 6. It was crazy because in Pittsburgh nobody knew about it. But in Philadelphia, they were all over. So yeah, so I even got on Stretch and Bob, which might be the highlight of my hip hop career so far. And I don't want to drag out the story, but it was my first time to New York City ever, and it was nighttime. And I remember we're going through is it the Lincoln Tunnel? Where you go under the water, you come up, and New York State of Mind is on from Nas is on the radio, and I was getting a little bit intimidated, man. I'm seeing the buildings for the first time. It's night. I'm like, oh man, like this is real, like this is big time. So anyway, we go into Columbia University, right? That's where the studio was at, WKRC or whatever.
I think so.
Oops, sorry about that.
It's all right.
And
he doesn't only kick rhymes.
Yeah, I kick my
It's live, y'all.
All right, we're good.
Kicking it live.
So we get into the elevator to go up to the studio, and the doors are closed, and then this guy's arm reaches in, and he's got dreads, and he's like, "What's up, guys? I'm going to the radio station." We're like, "Same here." He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Soma. I'm from Pittsburgh." He's like, "Oh, I'm Supernatural." And I was like, "Oh." I just got shook. I was like, "Shit."
Gonna freestyle with you soon.
Yeah, like what? So we go up there and like Supernat, they know him. He's on the show all the time. Like the greatest potential, maybe greatest freestyler ever. Like ever.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes in and he's ripping it. And I'm honestly getting nervous. I'm like, man, like, and then a couple groups from Philly went on. There was a group called Megahertz. And I don't know if Ram Squad was in there or not. Ram Squad was big at that time.
Richard Allen.
And I went on like the very end. I was sitting there for hours. And I went on. I got to do it. I kicked like 2 freestyles, talked about the record a little bit. And then I got to perform at the New Eurekan Cafe, Bobbito's place. I believe it was the next day. He had kind of like a showcase. I had my DJ Schizophrenic. What's up? He spun some vinyls for me. And it was a crazy experience. It was awesome.
Man. So I never knew that You Ain't Ready was that hit that much more, by the time I discovered them both. They were just kind of like on even ground, but I was going to ask, because Phill, you did the beats. You did both versions, right?
For both records, yeah. Yep.
So there's a remix to You Ain't Ready, which you did as well, right?
I did the remix for You Ain't Ready. The original one, I think that wasn't really me. I helped them do the original version, but that wasn't really my production. You Ain't Ready, the remix was all me.
I was going to say did you do the version with the Mr. Mello? Or did you do the version with the Light My Fire sample?
I did the Light My Fire sample. That's the one that's all me. The Mr. Mello sample, that's my record. And it was done on my equipment. But yeah, the guys who own the label, they pretty much they said how they wanted it done. So it's really their production. They did it the way they wanted it done.
Because you were mentioning Benny B with ABB Records, and once I heard that version, all I could think of was a Dilated People's track, where they had used it. So sometimes the first time you hear it's like, oh yeah, this beat, this sample's been used, whatever. But when you really listen to it though, I think you freak that sample way better, like personally.
Oh,
Like
I appreciate it. It's funny that you
nothing
mentioned
against
that
those guys.
because yeah, I sent the record, I sent Soma's record to Benny B, and as soon as he got it, he told me, "Yeah, that's a dope record." He said, "Yeah, my boys just used that same sample." I was like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? But nah, but I think ours still is different, you know, and yeah, it's both records are dope records though, you know what I mean?
I actually like the way that he flipped the Mr. Mellow sample and brought in like the guitar and stuff from his like. Whereas like when Premiere used it, it was really just that one piece of it. I like how they kind of made it progressive and brought in like the guitars later on and stuff with it. I thought, man, really both tracks aged really well. I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Indie Vinyl says Brave New World is his joint from the second Soma wax.
Brave New
I
World.
think I saw
That
on.
was dope too. That
I
that
think
wasn't
That
me
was
at all, but
hot.
that's dope too.
I think
That
I
was
saw
one.
on the Casingo Lake. It mentioned a Tequila Sunrise album. Did that ever come out?
No, no,
Is it
no,
in the vault?
no.
Could it
It's
come
not
out?
in the vault.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. It was the indie label kind of folded, whatever, and then I started just making music on my own here and there and piecing some things together. But no,
So you're saying you don't have the masters to the unreleased stuff?
I
We
don't. I
still
mean, I have versions of them, potentially on like a Dropbox file somewhere off cassette lo-fi. I
You
have.
guys could probably finish those tracks together.
Hey, you preach to the choir. Phil needs to come on, man.
I don't
yo,
know.
I know he's the b-boy MC. That dude can make beats,
I
and
don't know if you guys been
he's
approached.
an exquisite beat maker, man. He's the best I've ever known, ever met. I mean, the guy's unreal.
Has anybody
seriously,
approached you guys about
I appreciate
re-releasing
that.
anything?
What's that? I'm sorry, Sam. What?
Has anybody approached you about re-releasing or releasing anything again?
I got
Like
approached about Master Stereo a couple times. I don't think I paid much attention to it, to be honest with you. I think I forwarded it to the Apex Entertainment guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no,
I think
no.
if I could say so, I think that's the whole problem with that. There's definitely been people who want to re-release some of Soma stuff, but the whole thing is that it's you have to go through Apex Entertainment. They have the ownership of those records, and
Right.
if you try to put it out without them, and they find out, yeah, they probably would have a problem with it. So you know that would be the whole thing holding it up. But we have other unreleased stuff by Soma. I have some in my vaults that who knows, you know, if somebody wants to put it out, we might be able to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Apex. We're on like the 30-year anniversary here. Like, let's do it.
Brave New World
Let 'em
is
have
a
it.
dope song, though. That is a dope song. My man Kev Brooks made that beat. Shout out Kev Brooks. And he's getting at him. He's got a bunch of beats he wants to send me, and I think I'm just gonna put a project out here soon enough. I have like a little mixtape I put together. It's kind of like a demo, so I can send to people to see if I can get beats in return for these songs that I put together. Because I just want to do it. I mean, I never really put out a full Soma album, and I think I still have it. I mean, I have a lot to say.
So the Greed's Ultimate Nemesis EP that you guys worked on. Who else was in the crew with you guys? With you two?
My man Derek Penn, Big Gate. That is my guy. It's my right hand man. I've been friends with him since we were little kids. He lives right down the street from me. So it was me, him, and then Phil. Phil did all the beats. And how that came to fruition was after the Soma thing kind of fizzled. I mean, I felt like we had unfinished business because Phil and I really gelled well. And I found, this is like the internet was just evolving, and it was dial up. And I found him on World of the Beats. This may after 6 or 7 years of losing touch, and I just emailed him. I said, "Hey man, like any interest at all?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, let's go." So we started sending beats back, sending me beats. We'd send CDs in like the mail. He'd send me CDs. We record our verse in the back. I couldn't call him on the phone because he'd be on dial-up internet all the time. I tried to call him, I couldn't get to it. Be like, "This is Phil. I'm on the internet right now. Leave a message."
Word, I don't remember that.
Yeah, dude, you know what I'm talking about.
He's on America Online.
He was on Soulstruck 24/7. I'm like, dude, get
Yeah,
on
that's
Soulstruck.
Man,
Around that time, I was on social all the time.
I do it all the time. But so he ended up, we just mailed. He sent stuff back and forth, and it was great. We made some really. I'm proud of that EP. It's a lot of good music on there.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing, what happened with that one was I really wanted to start the whole World of Beats label, set it off with the G.U.N album. What happened was that's right when, like, my timing is always terrible. It's right when everything changed with trying to sell indie music. You know what I mean? Where it's like you can't really sell indie vinyl anymore, and it was just the timing was just not right for us to get it out there, and we're still trying to figure out, okay, well, how do you do it? Is it CDs? Is it MP3s? We don't even know how you're supposed to sell things anymore.
Yeah.
So it was just bad timing, but I think it's a great album. I love it to this day. I think it stands the test of time. And yeah, there's going to be more definitely that we do together for sure. That's going to happen.
I think Mike 2600 did the design, and I want to say Sega Dinka was also involved. I think Sega has a Richmond connection. Indie Vinyls had a question for Soma. Was the group PHA, aka Power Hitting Artists, also on the same Apex label he was on, or he wonders if it's the same label or just the same?
I'm not
name?
aware.
Okay.
I'm not aware of that artist. I don't know.
Might just be the same Apex name. Maybe
so.
not. Maybe not the same label.
It's hard to tell, man. I'm with Skelly though. Like Mr. Indie Vinyls, like when you go back after the fact and you try to put the pieces together, there's a lot of breadcrumbs that lead you to affiliations and things like that. But there's also a lot of mystery to this stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a detective a bit sometimes.
It's great that it came out in the vinyl era though, because I think about that too. Like if you're an MC right now and you're putting music out, it's just like, for the most part, it's not on physical format, and a lot of it's going to be lost to the internet. So much of the stuff that's been on the internet's already gone and lost, and it's pretty. I think it's a great thing that you guys made music in the era. There was evidence that people could uncover, like all these years later. Whether it's the Phill Most Chill like 12-inch that people in UK start geeking out about, or about the Soma 12-inch that people start going crazy about randomly, way after the fact.
I agree with that.
So I was saying earlier, Phil should do a UK and Japan tour, and so I think maybe you should open up for him or be on the bill as well.
That would be dope.
Let's go.
Bring your families out. Bring your families out there to have a blast too.
All right, I'm all in.
Just don't let them hear you rap though.
Right.
Soma, I appreciate you coming on. If you got to drop off, I totally understand. We're running over a little bit, so I appreciate you coming on and hanging on. And Phil, you as well. We got a few more to talk about if you want to hang on. That's to both of y'all.
Cool.
If you got to run, I totally understand that too. We've gone a little bit over, and I appreciate y'all hanging on.
I got a question for you guys though. One more question for both of y'all. If somebody comes up, you tell them, they find out that you rap, or you tell them you rap, what lyrics do you say if they ask you to rap? Like what's your go-to?
What's funny is that used to happen all the time. Anytime I get introduced to anybody new, he raps. Okay, kick something. Kick. You always had to kick something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Always. Yeah. But I would usually go with my latest and greatest, whatever my newest is. I wouldn't go back to like the Master Stairs or whatever. Whatever I have written, I'm always writing. So whatever's fresh off the top of my mind. Mostly my most recent stuff. I won't cheat and go back too far. That's like cheating for me.
All right.
What you should do when somebody asks you, you should go right to Master Stereo. Just come out. I ain't fucking no fat bitches. Blah, blah, blah. Just go right in.
My favorite line was
to your boss. To your boss.
Yeah, my boss. Right? That Master Stereo is like a gift and a curse, because I tried to hide it, for like so long. I don't want anybody to know, just because the lyrics were just so raunchy. And now, but my son's like 20 now, so it's not a big. But I didn't want his. I'm like coaching these kids in baseball. Like, this Carmen can knock it out. Nobody can know. Yeah. And now he's like, it's my best party trick. He's up in college because I go to a party. I say my dad's a rapper. They start laughing at me. I put on Master Stereo, and like they love it. They all love it. So anyway.
Why you sweating, kid? Oh, that's right. How many pussies wet? Like, man.
Yeah, like I would never say that.
Right.
Yeah, it's such a great line, though. It's such a great line. But then you realize that like all these people end up like getting older later on and having families. I was thinking about like stuff like that,
I was 19.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wanted to be as ill as possible. And now it's like cringeworthy stuff when you want,
I wouldn't say cringeworthy, man. I think people get it. Now,
Well, yeah, for sure.
Soma, you got to go back to that, man. I want to hear some more of that.
Hey, check out the file I sent you. There's stuff like that on there. I got some stuff. I can still be raunchy. I still got it in me. that's what people want to hear. That's how you get people's attention. So I agree with you, Phill.
That's right. That's right.
Just a little bit. You don't have to go full. Just a little bit.
Right. I don't have to go full hit the ham, but I don't feel like making bacon. I don't gotta go that far.
Like I said, Soma, we're going to talk about a few more things with Phill, if that's
right.
all right. And I appreciate you coming on.
I'm gonna bounce. Phill, great to see you.
You know it, brother.
Mordecai,
Love you, man.
thanks
We
for having
gonna talk more. We definitely doing some more work for sure.
All right. And Sam, I appreciate the work you do on the bikes, man. I like the bike shit.
That's what's up, man. Thanks for your everything, dude. Appreciate it.
All right, buddies. I'll see you guys later.
All right, peace, Soma.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm gonna try and move through things pretty fast since we went over. I appreciate
that was a nice
on.
surprise, though, man. Thanks for bringing my man on there. I like that.
No problem.
You made that happen, Mordecai. I appreciate you, man.
You helped make that happen, Samazon.
In decades, man.
Yeah, you put me onto the record and helped connect me to him on Instagram. So it was dope that he was able to join us. This is going a bit out of sequential order now because I knew we were, or at least hoped we were going to have him, and I'm glad he was able to come in. So this is going back to World of Beats. Is there a volume 1? Am I missing something?
There is a volume 1, but it's like I said, you press for time, but I'll try to keep it short as possible. World of Beats volume 1, it came out, but I pulled it basically because when I first started making it, Supreme and G.U.N were doing the first comment tape, and Supreme sent me the comment tape, and I listened to it. It's like, oh, the one I'm doing is kind of similar to what they have here. I can't do the same thing. Let me try to change mine up. So I started redoing volume 1, and when I got done with it, I realized I had one of the settings wrong, so the sound quality was all messed up. I didn't realize it all through the time I was recording it. So I put it out anyway for a little while. Then I just said, no, the sound quality is too bad. I got to pull this. So there are copies out there of World of Beats Volume 1, but they're very hard to find, very rare. So if you find one, you might have something.
Indie Vinyls shouting you out, Sam. Big up Indie Vinyls. Thanks for tuning in and checking in, and everybody else in the chat. This Twitch slaps. Shout out Data Man Zen. This is Lo-Fi Theory 2005 Puma Strut. It's on a 12-inch vinyl EP. Is this sort of like the return or like a revival almost? Like kind of you coming back on the scene? Do you feel like that, or at least on the mic?
Absolutely, return to rhyming. That's because once I found out that people discovered the On Tempo Jack record and it became like a cult classic, I said, all right, well, maybe maybe I might still have a chance to do something on the mic. Because I quit rhyming after the Baritone Tip Love project just because music had changed so much. The sound of it was different. I didn't feel like I could really do what they were doing in the 90s. So I just focused on collecting beats and trying to make beats and all that kind of thing and writing articles in the magazines. But then I said, after On Tempo Jack got discovered, I said, let me see if I can try my hand at rhyming again. So I got my man Macca, or he got with me, Puma Strut. And I had these beats that I had done earlier, maybe about a decade earlier, and they were just off a cassette tape. And I said, I'm just going to rhyme on these old beats I had. And that's kind of what the Lo-Fi Theory was, me rhyming over old beats I had on a cassette.
Same. If you got any questions, feel free to jump in. One thing I meant to ask was Soma, what were you making the beats on? Was that S900 or S950 or?
That at that time I was making beats using a Akai 950 sampler, and I was triggering the samples or programming the drums and everything with a Casio RZ1 drum machine, one of the old relic type, drum machines. Yeah, and that's how I was doing everything.
So 2011 was all cuts recorded raw, dope artwork. Big up Diggers with Gratitude. How did you connect with? It's Rare Dave, right? That ran Diggers with Gratitude, or is still running it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how we got together. I think we were probably on Soul Strut, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Dave was on Soul Strut probably. I'm not sure. But again, once On Tempo Jack came out and became a big thing among collectors, he's like, you got any more stuff from that era that wasn't released? I said, yeah, I got a lot. And so first we came out, we did the Be Intelligent EP, And then after that, that went well. That I think that was the beginning of random rap, where you had these limited edition presses. There might have been maybe one other record before that was in that that random rap classification, but that was the beginning of that. And that sold out real fast. So then they said, "You got more?" Yeah, I got more. And so we came up with All Cuts Recorded Raw. It's all stuff I did from back in 1987, 1988, 1989.
That package looked pretty well executed too, if I remember right. It was like gatefold, like full color vinyl. It had a 7-inch with the original cut we were talking about on that was about to be on Cutting Records, right? But didn't that come with it?
Yeah, I think did it come with that? See, I've done so many records now I kind of forget what came with what.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it did come with that. Maybe it did come with that. But yeah, no, they did a fantastic job with the art and everything. I did all the drawing and everything, but the way they put it all together, yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks dope. I think that's why I skipped over Be Intelligent, just because I knew we might be crunched for time, and you have such a vast discography. I just love this cover. I just wanted to like showcase it as well.
Yeah.
2013 or 15?
13 is right. Yeah.
Okay, it was covered up for me on my side. So DJ Format and Phill Most Chill, the Foremost. How did that connection happen?
All right. Well, first I did something on Format's album, and I'm drawing a blank on the name. It's Statement of. Oh my God, I don't know why. I'm just having a senior moment here. But
It's
I
all
did
good.
something on his album, and I guess that was well received, or we like working together, and said, hey, let's start doing our own album. And it was amazing because it just came together so quickly and organically. Every time Format would send me a beat, it was like, oh yeah, that's it. And I would write like instantly to what he gave me. And one record I remember, he gave it to me. I got it in the morning. I got the beat in the morning, wrote the whole song, recorded it, and then sent it to him. I believe it was that same day, which is unheard of for me. It usually takes much longer for me to do stuff. But that's how in the groove I was with what he was doing. And yeah, no, that it was a great experience working with him for sure.
Okay. I wanted to go back just for a second. Sam, you said that All Cuts Recorded Raw had a special bonus disc, right?
Well, it was.
And that was the Devastating 2, right? And I wanted to bring in one more special guest. We got Rus Ace
Get out of
here.
here. Are you serious?
What's up, boy?
Yo.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
Yo, I got handed to y'all, man. Y'all went the extra mile. I appreciate it.
I tried.
Yo, Rus Ace, that's
What's
my
going on,
cousin.
cuz?
That's beyond friends. That's my cousin. That's my
that's the
blood
blood.
right there, man. We
That's it.
started it all off together, man.
Yes,
back in his house. We would just be freestyling and just rhyming, and then it became something, man. It was fantastic.
Good old days, man. Good old days.
Yeah, I was
Rocking rhymes,
trying to track him down.
traveling East Coast, little part of the East Coast, but East Coast, doing our thing up in the Bronx, rapping on high-rise elevators.
That's right, in the Bronx, in the projects.
Yep, in the projects.
Went to the Disco Fever. We hanging out at the Disco Fever. Then we broke night on the train.
Oh,
I forget which train it was, all night long on the train.
We ain't gonna talk about rags. I think you still got a problem with me because of that. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Russ,
and just so y'all know, we're not done.
Hey,
There's gonna be some more. There's gonna be some more Devastating 2 music. We're getting in the works now. We're gonna do some more for sure.
That's it. Phil's like they say. Phill Most. He's like Phil Thanos, man. He's giving me the snap. Gonna bring me back to life after 30 years.
Hey, you still got a good voice, man. I'll be interested to hear some raps. I mean, I think y'all could do something interesting.
Yeah.
No,
we're gonna light it up.
It's definitely gonna be nice. Yeah, this is like it's like a dream deferred. Now we're gonna make it a reality now for real.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Russ, thanks for joining us, man. I hit him up earlier in the week, I think, and then he got back to me today while I was out digging, actually, and I sent it to voicemail, and then he shot me a text, thankfully. So I appreciate you being able to hop on and everything. Soma, I had all the covers and stuff ready to go, but Devastating 2 was reissued, right? Was it DWG?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On 7-inch vinyl.
Yeah, we're not supposed to say for legal reasons.
Okay.
Give all the details on that,
Sorry
but
about that.
yeah, somehow
Yeah.
somebody got a hold of it and
Right.
it appeared somehow.
Okay.
But
You-
it was
you-
great. It's something we had sat on for many years. It was good for we could get it out there as a promo only. You know, we didn't sell
Yeah.
it, but just to have it pressed up and have it actually a physical record, something
Right.
to show what we did back in the days for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Hey Russ, how many times do you play the 7-inch? Do you still, is it in your rotation?
Man, a lot, man. You know, it was really nice to hear it come back and done in a couple different ways. But yeah, man, that was loved it, man. It was a great experience. You know, hooking up with Hashim and Aldo and them dudes in the studio. Yeah, those were definitely good times, man. Definitely.
I mean, I
Absolutely.
feel like even just being able to hold it in your hand, like all these years later, you know, it's got to be satisfying. Just
Oh
you know.
yeah. Oh, definitely was, man. I was surprised when Phill, hit me and told me that, it was on it somehow reappeared on wax. I was like, oh, okay, great. Let me check this out. He said, do you have something to play a 45? I was like, okay, well, I don't know about that, but we're gonna find out a way to make this happen. Good stuff for sure.
Yeah, man.
Russ, I feel like Phill said that the tracks didn't really turn out the way maybe you guys wanted them to. Like, are you more of like, I guess, boom bap, like Bloodline? Like, would you prefer to have been over more,
Yeah,
rather than more like an electro sound?
Yeah, we preferred it to be that way, but they did a good job. I mean, it wasn't, like Phill said, it wasn't what we envisioned, but I was pretty happy with it. They sped it up and added the electric sound to it and all that. But we wanted something a little more street, a little more hard hitting. You know what I mean? We want to hear that drum machine. We want to hear those scratches. Because that's where we come from. You know what I mean? That's what we do and that's what we know. So, but it turned out good, man. Those guys definitely had some skills for sure.
What was the story with the re-edit? Because they did put some seasoning on it too, didn't they?
I let Phill answer that one.
Yeah, that was with they did that re-edit with why I'm having senior moments. Santana. I can't think of his first name right
Omar
now.
Santana.
Omar Santana, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is a big name in the whole cut and paste world, and he did a phenomenal job of taking what we did. And when we heard it, our minds were blown just to hear something of that level, that quality, from what we did. We had never been in a recording studio before. We didn't know anything about that world, but it was a great experience. And yeah, even though it wasn't what we envisioned, as far as we didn't really want to make electro hip hop, we wanted to make real raw street hip hop, but it still sounded good. And like I said, it sounded quality. So yeah, it still was a great experience.
Is there an unreleased or like demo version that is more like to your liking or style, or is the tracks that are forthcoming going to be more in line with kind of?
Yeah, what we do going forward, it
Division.
definitely won't be electro. But yeah, when we went up to record that, I had an idea in my mind. I knew how I wanted the beat to go and everything, but we didn't have. I don't think we even had real equipment to make a demo or anything. So we just explained what we wanted and got in the studio and made it. Did the drum machine right at I guess Aldo's house.
Yep.
And it went to the studio the next day and recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, what do you think of Phil's prolific career and all the stuff that he's done?
Well, I tell you, it's something because by he and I growing up together so closely, I just always knew what he was capable of. So we're very proud of him. I'm speaking for the family, but I'm really not that surprised. It's amazing, but I knew he was amazing when we were kids. So it's just I'm everybody else is finding out something I knew 50 years ago. So no, but he's truly a legend.
So what is it? So you don't have to divulge too much about your personal life. I'm just asking, like, how did so music wasn't as much a part of your life after that thing kind of fell apart?
Yeah, not as far as doing it, but it's funny because I always had it's kind of like doing crosswords puzzles. I kind of love writing rhymes and lyrics, and I've wrote songs for other people, just as a hobby, just out of fun, you know what I mean? Because it's something I just love to do. So, it's funny how Phill and I, we kind of went our own ways, but we always stayed close, you know what I mean? But I think it kind of allowed us to grow, as people. But, I was always there for him and he was always there for me. So, it wasn't like we were on the outs with each other. We just, did our own thing, but we always
Absolutely.
but at the same time, we always stay connected,
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
When y'all
that's what happens sometimes in life. Everybody just they have to go their own way and do their own thing and live their own life, and that's
Right.
just the way it works. But yeah, that like I said, that's my blood. That's my cousin
Yep.
right there. So
No matter what. That's
so
it.
anything goes down, if he needs me, I'm there for him, and I feel the same way
versa.
that
Vice
he be
versa.
there for me. So it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
good.
Yeah. That bond is real. I mean, I know people that I haven't really been close with for a couple decades, but if they ask me for anything, I'd be there.
Exactly.
Like it was yesterday,
Exactly. Like no time passed, it's
Yeah.
always there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Russ, Phill said that y'all were opening up right for Hashim, and that's kind of how you got signed and discovered. Like, was there like a stage routine, or what was it? So, what was it about your
Yeah,
show that made
we
it
had
so special?
we had it all set up. We had it all set up. Rhymes, routines, few steps. You know what I mean? Our DJs backing us up.
Steps.
We was rolling. One thing about us, we got together. We prepared. We prepared. And we came corrected. We came ready. So
you guys had a stage show. You guys had a stage show, like a routine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And
all that.
that's
we had the rhyme store. We had so much material. I mean, we just had gobs and gobs, and a lot of it had to do with Phill because that guy's mind's always going. So we was always prepared. Like me, I'm more of like a soloist, more or less like just like for instance, he composes, he arranges, he got the beats, he got everything. I'm just a strict MC rapper. That's what I do. Freestyle, and play my parts. You know what I mean? Phill was like Magic Johnson. He played all 5 positions. I was more like Andrew Toney. I just shot my shots.
Phill, we
But
got
you
your
shot
tour
good
all.
shots. That's the thing. Just like Tony.
Well, thank you, brother.
Phil, we got your tour all planned now. We got Soma, we got Rus Ace, Devastating 2, Phill Most Chill.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
World domination. Let's
That's
go.
it. We're gonna take school them. We're gonna show them what's up.
Russ,
Did you guys really have like a routine, like steps and like stuff like that?
I'm gonna tell you something. Are you familiar with the Cold Crush Brothers?
Yeah, I know. I mean, not as familiar as you guys, but
I'll just say this: coming from a guy who we have highly respect, DJ WizKid, he looked at us and said, "You guys remind us of the Cold Crush." And I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he made my day when he said that. He made my year when he said that.
Wow. I was just thinking that's one thing that's I don't know. I guess at a certain point it became played out or corny or whatever, but having people actually step in and like having dancers is incredible for me to go back to now. And you didn't realize like how awesome it was until people just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And see some of those stage shows, or even things like EPMD videos, things like that, where you had people step into the music was an underrated aspect for sure.
Just to be clear though, like we didn't have like we weren't doing Michael Jackson dance choreography or anything like that.
Like
but we were in sync with how we were doing everything. Everything was planned out how we were doing it. I mean, I wish I could say that we were really stepping out there.
Like
it wasn't like that, but we were on the same page and just everything was planned out how we were doing everything.
Sounds like you weren't just standing there stiff with the mic though either. So.
No.
Yeah, we were moving. We definitely moving around.
Rocking the show. It's all high energy. You know what I mean? We bought it. We came to rock. We came to tear shit up. That's what we do.
There you go.
Who was your DJ?
We had 2 DJs. Tell them, Phill.
Yeah, well, like when we had 2. It was Jolly Rock. The Black Prince. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his record. I don't know. Maybe you got him waiting in the wings too. I don't know.
Russ is the last one I was hearing.
But yeah, no, the Jolly Rock. He would DJ for us, and then also my man Scratch Master Rob, who I think at that time he was still Master Rob. But we had 2.
That's dope. Russ, I told Soma that we went over a little bit with him.
Right.
We're definitely going way over with you. You're welcome to stay on. Appreciate you hopping on. We got a couple more Phill Most Chill releases to talk about, and then we'll end the show. But I appreciate you hopping on. You're welcome to stay if you want, or if you
Okay.
got to drop off. I totally understand that. I'm
Yeah,
glad
we
you were able to get on.
appreciate you joining us, man. This is a rare opportunity here. We were Mordecai and I were talking about your group, and I honestly I didn't even know at the time, and then I started doing my research once he told me, and I was like, man, that's incredible if we can get Russ on. Man.
Oh man, thanks for having me, fellas. I really appreciate what you guys doing, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we talked a bit about the Febreze brothers. I don't want to gloss over it, but we are, pushing way over on time. But rest in peace, Paul Nice. This came out on LP, CD, and cassette, 2015. Some dope tracks on there. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Sam. Or
Just again, just rest in peace to Paul Nice. People may know some of the things that happened preceding his passing, but he was a good man. He had some issues. And I try. I don't want to remember those things. I don't want to remember him that way. I want to remember all the good times and the good person that I know he was, and the fantastic musician, DJ, producer that he was. You know what I mean? I did. I don't like to say any one of my albums is my favorite because I love all of them for different reasons. But there are certain things he put into that album that, I love more than any other recordings I've done. So, rest in peace to Paul Nice.
Yeah,
Did Mr. Crumb do the design on this too? Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Shout out to
Fantastic
Mr. Crumb.
job.
Joe Run PMC 2020, double LP, CD, cassette. Big up to Joe Run Bombay. Would love to have him on the show too. You said Dan Lish did the artwork, I think, on this one, right?
The great Dan Lish. I can't say Dan Lish. I have to say the great because
Okay.
he's known
Contractual.
for you've seen all his work. He has a book and everything, and he's done for almost every notable hip hop personality. So for me to be included to be able to say I got something done by Dan Lish is massive for me. So but shout out to Dan. Also shout out to the great. I gotta say the great with him too, Joe Run Bombay, for the work that he did on this album because it's phenomenal. You know how sometimes I would come with just an idea and he would take it and sculpt it into something that was unbelievable. He'd do it real fast too. So the Joe Run is an amazing producer, DJ. And you listen to his podcast he does right now, the Funk Box Reloaded. He's doing some extra incredible stuff. I don't even want to give it away, but you need to check out definitely check out his podcast and just check out everything he does because everything he does is dope.
I mean, he's been making a name for himself in the music game lately with a lot of the 45 edits and stuff he's been doing. Some like really incredible work with that. But I just noticed this Richmond connection. I see J.U.N was on the G.U.N MPC album, so he's out of Richmond. I don't know him real well, but I know he's out of Richmond, where Mordecai and I are from.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
we
so
did an interview with J.U.N. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once again, I have to say the great J.U.N because if you follow what J.U.N's doing, it's unbelievable what he's doing in he's down with Rock the Bells with LL and everything. And I have to thank him too because he opened up my mind to a lot of the history of hip hop. Even though I grew up in the basic vicinity of where it all was going down, he with his interviews he just showed the real inside story of the origins of hip hop from the pioneers. Hearing it right from the horse's mouth. And and the stuff he's doing now is phenomenal. And he's a dope MC too because he brought it on that track. And I'm hoping that I can do some more work with him as far as rhyming as well because he's another Renaissance man, you could say. He's got a lot of talent and the great J.U.N for sure.
Come down to Richmond to meet up with J.U.N, man. Beer's on me.
All right, I might do that for real.
You're welcome in this town by many people, I'm sure, man.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, I was gonna say we would definitely want a Rampagers 12-inch EP or full-length album, and they could also be on the Phill Most Chill showcase with Soma and Devastating 2 as well.
I would love to do that. If we could get Ox back
Sir.
to getting on that mic. He never should have left. He should still be rhyming. He's another incredible talent. And
Renaissance, he's a Renaissance man too. That's what I'm saying. Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Digging in the crates, DJing, everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we can get him back on the mic. Yeah, I would love to do a Rampages, Devastating 2, Soma tour, and we just take over the world. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Oxygen. We also had him on the show not too long ago. Crash Slaughter says amazing. Febreze Brothers LP, Heroes of the East, gets regularly dropped in my DJ sets. Once at an after party rave at 5 a.m. in Glasgow, it ripped the roof off. R.I.P. Paul Nice. So,
that's
shout
what's
out
up.
once
So,
again.
also, I got to say real quick, rest in peace also to the great Peyton Locke for what he did on that album too, with Heroes of the East. Unbelievable, one of the greatest verses. And I'm not just talking shit. That's one of the best verses I ever heard from Peyton Locke. Again, he was a fantastic talent, Renaissance man, did it all, DJ'd, rock with Edon, digging in the crates, everything. Just a fantastic person, great soul. I'm gonna start tearing up. I start talking about my people who are no longer with me. I'm the last of the Heroes of the East now. So we won't be able to add that to the tour, but yeah, rest in peace to Peyton Locke. That's just a fantastic brother.
While we're talking about Crash Slaughter, this is the last one. Definition of Ill, most recent 7-inch 45. Big up Crash Slaughter. We wanted to make sure we mentioned this before we.
Yes. So just so y'all know, we getting rave reviews for this single, and we are now working on an album. And I'm telling you right now, this album is going to be ridiculous. I am driving Crash Slaughter crazy because I want it to be the greatest thing ever. And I know he's listening now. That he is driving me crazy. But it's because he's doing such great work. He's doing such great beats, and I think we got something real special. So, be on the lookout for that. That's coming for sure. And I don't know how soon we're gonna have that out, but we're working on it now, and it's already sounding incredible.
So Definition of Ill is out now on Bandcamp. Got that. It's like a Velvet Underground throwback on the cover art.
Like the Verve.
Nice.
Yeah, the Verve label.
Yep.
That's basically it. I think this Twitch which slaps had a question. Unfortunately, I don't see it. So big up to everybody that listened and tuned in. And Russ, thank you for hopping on. And Phil, thank you for your time and hanging on the extended version here. Thank you, Sam, for all your questions. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Phil or Sam?
Yeah, if I got a minute, I got to plug everything I got coming now. Before we get to the Crash Slaughter coming up, also I have an album with my man G.U.N from France. That again, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. We're working with Mr. Crumb now to get the artwork together. It's going to be unbelievable. Also with my man DJ Snafu, DJ Grasshopper, the Analog Mutants. We have another single coming out. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's going to be something totally different. It's going to be mind-blowing. Look out for that. And we have an album that's been in the cans for a long time. I'm hoping that'll be coming out sometime soon. I'm also working with Chuck D from Public Enemy, his label, Spit Slam. And we're in the process of working on an album with them as well. And that's going to be incredible. Also, there's some other stuff I can't talk about right now, but I'm going to be on the album of a hip-hop legend very soon, and that's going to be major, or that's what's in the plans. And there's some other stuff too. I know I'm forgetting something, but my apologies if I forgot anybody or anything that's happening. But lot coming up, so be on the lookout.
Shout out to G.U.N and Grasshopper.
I think it's
Sam,
great.
Did you have anything else you wanted to mention before we drop off?
I think it's great that we're still looking forward to all this stuff, man. That you're still staying that involved, man, because that's how you know that you really got it in your heart, man. Just whatever the circumstances are, you still doing it, and making a great contribution at that, man. So thanks for that.
Yeah, it's like I said, as long as people want it and people want to work with me, I'm down. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm not dead yet. I'm getting old, but I'm not dead. So let's go.
All right. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it, y'all. We're going to rate out to somebody. Feel free to put it in the comments, and y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate your time, Phil. Thank you, Russ and Sam.
All right now. Thanks for having me. All right, brothers. Take care.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys. This was one of the best interviews I've ever had. This is unbelievable. Thanks a lot.
It was a blast for us too. I know, man, because
For sure.
Respect.
That's
Peace.
what's up.
Deuces. Peace.